I spent my whole life trying to earn a place at my own table. One sentence shattered that illusion forever. My father said my sister was his only achievement. I smiled, nodded, and stayed quiet. He didn't know one screenshot was about to change everything. My name is Elena, and growing up in my house felt like standing in line for love that never reached me. Sit up straight, my father said at dinner. Your sister knows how to behave. I nodded and fixed my posture. My sister smiled. Dad, it's fine, she said softly. No, he replied, waving his fork at me. She needs to learn. At school events, teachers praised my grades. Elena works very hard, one said. My father shrugged. Hard work doesn't mean success, he answered. In the car, he added, your sister has talent, you just try. I stared out the window and said nothing. That night at dinner, my aunt laughed. So how are the girls doing? My father leaned back. She's my only real achievement, he said. Nodding at my sister, the room went quiet. My mother looked down. My cousin cleared his throat. I felt heat rush to my face. I wanted to say something, anything. Instead, I picked at my food. Elena, my sister whispered, are you okay? I forced a smile. I'm fine. My father didn't look at me. See, he said, she knows her place. His words dragged me backward. Why can't you be more like her? He had shouted years ago, stop crying. He used to say, you're too sensitive. When something broke, it was always my fault. If your sister did it, she had a reason. He'd argue. I learned to stay quiet. Silence hurt less than fighting. At the table, my uncle finally spoke. That's a bit harsh, my father scoffed. I'm just honest. My sister touched my arm. Dad, please. He waved her off. You don't need to defend her. My chest felt tight. I excused myself. But my father stopped me. Sit, he ordered. Family should hear the truth. I sat back down, hands shaking under the table. My phone pressed against my palm. Where even are you working now? He asked, still jumping jobs. I met his eyes. I'm doing fine. He laughed. Fine isn't success. My sister whispered, Dad, enough. He ignored her. You see why I worry, he told everyone. She never sticks. I swallowed hard. Inside, something shifted. I thought about the nights I slept on my office couch. The calls I never returned because I was scared he'd laugh. The achievements I hid because praise from strangers felt safer. My mother finally spoke. Elena, eat. My father shook his head. She always says that. I looked down at my phone again. One swipe, one image. Numbers he'd never imagine. My heart raced. Dinner's almost over, my aunt said gently. My father stood. Before we finish, he announced, I just want to say how proud I am. He hugged my sister. You're my success. My sister pulled away from him. Dad, you're hurting her, she said quietly. He frowned. I'm motivating her. I laughed under my breath before I could stop myself. He turned. What's funny? I shook my head. Nothing. Then stop acting dramatic, he snapped. You've always been dramatic. I'm not dramatic, I said softly. My voice surprised even me. I just don't talk. He raised his eyebrows. Because you have nothing to say. My cousin shifted in his seat. That's not fair, he muttered. My father pointed at me. Name one thing she's done worth mentioning. The table waited. I felt every eye on me. My sister opened her mouth, but I stopped her with a look. It's okay, I said. He doesn't need to know. My father laughed again. See, even she agrees, my mother whispered. Please stop. So my aunt said nervously. Holidays are about togetherness. My father waved her off. Togetherness requires contribution. He looked at me. What do you contribute? I breathed in slowly. I survive. He scoffed. Barely. My sister's voice cracked. Dad, I don't want this praise. He softened instantly. You deserve it. Then he hardened again. She doesn't. The switch was familiar. It always was. I checked my phone again, not to look, just to feel it there. Proof, safety, power. My heart thudded. I thought about walking out. I stayed. I wanted him to see my face when the truth came out, even if it wasn't tonight. As I walked away, my sister whispered, I'm sorry. I nodded. I know. I went back to the table and sat down again. My father blinked. I thought you were leaving. I met his eyes. Not yet. My fingers tightened around my phone under the table. The truth waited. So did I. I closed my apartment door and let my bag fall to the floor. You okay? Maya asked on the phone. You sound quiet. I leaned against the wall. Family dinner, I said. She sighed. Say less. I laughed softly. He said it again. Said what? That my sister is his only achievement. Maya went silent. Elena, I'm sorry, it's fine. I lied, it's always fine. The next morning, my mentor Daniel knocked on my office door. You slept here again? He said. Long night, I replied. He raised an eyebrow. That's every night. I shrugged. Deadlines don't care about feelings. He smiled. Sit. I sat. You're carrying something, he said. I always am. You don't have to, he replied. I looked away. I learned that I do back then. I tried telling my father once. I got a contract, I said. He laughed. Temporary. Another time I said, I'm building something. He smirked. Everyone thinks that, so I stopped sharing. Silence was safer. Silence didn't give him weapons. At lunch, my coworker Jess slid into the chair across from me. You skipped again, she said. Busy, I answered. You're always busy, she replied. Because I'm scared, I admitted. She blinked. Of what? Of stopping. She nodded slowly. That makes sense. Nights were the worst. I'd stare at my screen, heart racing. Breathe, I told myself. Sometimes I called Maya. I think I'm failing, I said once. You're not, she replied. You're exhausted. I cried quietly. What if he's right? She didn't hesitate. He's not. I clung to those words. Daniel noticed everything. You hide success like it's shame, he said. One evening, I smiled tightly. It's protection. He leaned back. From who? I didn't answer. He didn't push. One day, he said, you'll stop shrinking. I nodded. Not yet. There were panic attacks in bathroom stalls. You're okay. Jess whispered through the door once. I can't breathe, I said. I'm right here, she answered. Count with me, I counted. I survived. Again. Months passed. The numbers grew. Quietly. I didn't celebrate. I didn't post. I saved screenshots and locked them away. Proof I never showed. Why don't you tell them? Maya asked. I shook my head. They don't get access to me anymore. She smiled. Good. One night, Daniel handed me a folder. You did this, he said. I looked at the pages. We did, I corrected. He shook his head. You led. My chest tightened. Thank you, I whispered. He met my eyes. I'm proud of you. I almost cried right there. At another family call, my father asked. Still figuring life out, I answered calmly. I'm working. He laughed. Sure. I hung up early. My hands didn't shake this time. Jess caught me smiling at my phone later. What's that look? She asked. Peace, I said. Finally, she bumped my shoulder. You earned it. That night, I sat alone and opened the screenshot again. Numbers. Years of sacrifice. I thought about showing him. I closed the screen. Not for validation, I said out loud. For closure. My phone buzzed. Maya texted. Whatever you choose, you're enough. I smiled. For the first time, I believed it. I wasn't invisible anymore. I just chose who got to see me. I sat back at the same table 2 weeks later. The same chairs, the same voices, the same weight in my chest. She just closed another deal, my father said proudly. Clapping for my sister. That's what ambition looks like. My sister shifted uncomfortably. Dad, it was a team thing. He laughed, always humble. That's why she succeeds. He looked at me. Some people just don't have it. I took a slow breath. You don't know what I have. He smirked. If you had anything, we'd know, my mother whispered. Please, he ignored her. Look at her. He told everyone. Quiet, no direction. My uncle cleared his throat. She seems fine. My father waved him off. Fine is average. Something settled inside me. Not anger, not fear. Clarity. Dad, I said calmly. He raised an eyebrow. Yes, I want to show you something. He laughed. Now yes. I reached into my pocket and pulled out my phone. My sister frowned. Elena, just a second. I said. My hands didn't shake. I turned the screen toward him. Read it. He squinted. What am I looking at? My account. He chuckled. Savings, business. He leaned closer. These commas don't make sense. The table went quiet. Is this real? My aunt asked. Yes, I said. My father's smile faded. What is that number? 47 million. I answered softly. Someone gasped. My sister whispered. What? My father grabbed the phone. This isn't funny. It's not a joke, I said. He scrolled. His face changed. Color drained. Where did this come from? From yours you didn't ask about, my cousin said. Oh my God. My mother covered her mouth. Elena, my father stammered. You said you were just working. I was. I replied. I built something. He laughed nervously. Why didn't you tell us? Because every time I tried, you laughed. He shook his head. I was motivating you. You were silencing me. My sister looked at me like she was seeing me for the first time. Why didn't you tell me? She asked. Because I didn't want to hurt you, I said, or give him another reason to compare. My father slammed the phone on the table. This changes things. I met his eyes. No, it just reveals them. Questions came fast. Is it legal? Who helped you? Why hide it? I answered calmly. Yes, me, to survive. My father tried to stand tall again. I'm proud of you. I shook my head. That's not what this is. He frowned. Then what? Closure. He swallowed hard. Why didn't you trust us? I laughed quietly. Trust is built. My mother reached for my hand. I'm sorry. I squeezed back. I know. My father looked smaller now. I never meant to hurt you. Intent doesn't erase impact. The room felt different. My sister spoke up. Dad, you were wrong. He looked at her, stunned. I praised you at her expense. He whispered. Yes. She said you did. Silence followed, heavy, honest. He turned back to me. Why now? I stood. Because I don't need your approval anymore. He opened his mouth, then closed it. I don't even know what to say. You don't have to say anything, I replied. Just listen. I picked up my phone. I carried this alone for a long time, I said. Not because I wanted to prove you wrong, because I had to protect myself. He nodded slowly. I never made it safe, he admitted. My chest tightened. No, I said, you didn't. As I walked away from the table, my father called after me. Elena, I stopped. Why didn't you tell me? I turned back, calm and steady. Because you never made it safe to be me. My name is Elena, and walking away wasn't easy, but it was necessary. After everything that happened, the messages started pouring in. My phone buzzed nonstop. I stared at the screen. Texts from my father, my sister, even my mother. The first one I opened was from Dad. Elena, I'm sorry, can we talk? I read it twice and put the phone down. The words felt heavy but hollow, like apologies weighed down by years of silence. Later that evening, his call came. The ring echoed in my quiet apartment. Hello, I answered, voice steady. Elena, I just want to explain. Please. I closed my eyes and took a slow breath. I don't need explanations anymore. Dad, there was silence. Then, I want to make things right. I swallowed the lump in my throat. You can't fix what you broke, but I want to try. He pleaded. Trying is too late. Days passed, and the messages kept coming. My sister Sarah texted next. I don't know what to think. I feel guilty. I paused before replying. You don't have to. She messaged again. I miss us. Can we be better? My fingers hovered over the keyboard. Finally, I typed, yes, promise, promise. She replied almost instantly. At work, Jess noticed my quietness. You seem different, she said one afternoon over coffee. I am. I admitted, stronger, maybe. She smiled. Good, you deserve that. I thought about the nights I cried alone in bathroom stalls. The panic attacks that no one knew about. The years of hiding success just to survive my family's judgment. Success hadn't healed me. It never would. What healed me was finding my own self-worth. One afternoon, my mother came to visit unexpectedly. I opened the door to find her hesitant, holding a bouquet of lilies. We all hurt you, she said softly. I nodded. I know. Can you forgive us? I looked away, feeling the weight of years lift and settle all at once. I forgive myself first, I said quietly. Her eyes shone with tears. That's wise. Later, Sarah came over. We sat on my couch. The silence between us filled with unspoken pain and hope. I never saw how hard it was for you, she whispered. Neither did anyone, I replied. Tears streamed down her cheeks. I'm sorry. I reached out and held her hand. Me too. That moment was the start, a fragile thread of healing woven between us. I spent many days reflecting alone, understanding that the victory wasn't in shaming my father or sister. It was in choosing peace and setting boundaries that protected me without closing me off. The distance between us became a space for growth, not bitterness. Maya called one evening. You sound different. Proud. For the first time, I said, I'm proud of myself. Walking into my apartment felt like shedding a heavy coat. The silence wasn't lonely, it was freedom. I whispered, I'm proud of me. Looking in the mirror, I finally saw Elena, not the invisible daughter, but a woman who survived, thrived, and rose taller than her past. I smiled, knowing I no longer needed anyone's approval. I had found my own, and that was everything. The road wasn't easy, but every step away was a step closer to myself. I didn't win by humiliating them, I won by freeing myself. And that freedom is where I'll stay.